and welcome to another edition of Beer for Breakfast ABV. My name is Danielle from The Moog Show on 91X, and this group of hooligans behind me is the group that is going to the Great American Beer Festival. As always, I've got Paul Segura from Karl Strauss with me. I've got Jeff from Burning Beard with me, and I've got Jay and Doug from Thorn Brewing, and we are all getting ready to head out to Denver for the Great American Beer Festival. So for this episode, I had each of them bring in one of their submissions. We'll find out on Saturday if any of them won, but let's start out with Burning Beard. What'd you bring?
This is Roggen the Lightning, a crazy amount of rye, 80%, which turns the lauter from a 45-minute event to a 3.5-hour event.
How do you even do that?
Well,
a lot of rice holes?
A lot of rice holes. Actually, both of those.
What did you call me?
Bioglucanase. Do not Urban Dictionary that.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Okay. You know, if you Urban Dictionary Moog's name, it's something really dirty.
Oh,
My
I
co-host.
believe it.
Yeah, go look it up. Look it up.
After the show.
Yeah,
Or was it Ariana Grande? Lick the bowl.
Lick the bowl.
When we're done, we might do that if we like it.
Wow.
Cheers.
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 Spicy craziness.
Good luck to you on this beer.
Thank you very much.
Probably won't need luck, but.
Oh yeah, yeah we do.
Wow.
So it comes in at a 4.5%. What are you entering this into? What category?
It is going into the session category.
Okay, so what's your strategy when you're deciding what category you're going to go for?
Well, obviously the rye category would make a lot of sense, right? But Roggen...
Rye beers never win in the rye beer category.
They don't.
How is that possible?
How is that possible? Well, it's because they're up against every other beer style that has rye in it, rye IPA excluded, I believe. But taking a look at what is allowable in the session beer category, this made a lot of sense. We got some really good feedback from some friends of ours, and we think this is a solid beer. We wanted to give it a place to stand out, and as you know, the judges will have to open the book and do a little reading on Roggen, and we think that'll work in our favor. So it's a little bit of strategy.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I've judged the session category before.
Are you judging it this time? Because that'd be really helpful.
We don't know yet.
Okay.
You don't really know until you show up. But the session ale, or the session category, it's not necessarily ale, is a lower ABV version than another like higher gravity beer, right?
Okay.
So as long as it's 5% ABV or under, but you're right, like usually we have to kind of look up the paragraph or guidelines for a Roggen beer and then just go, okay, those are the characteristics, this is a lower ABV version, so it does take longer to judge that category sometimes than other categories.
Yeah, and the hope behind that is that the work that you guys put into it will actually, well, with that time that you're allowed to put into this category, it'll translate into something good for us. It's the whole idea being that in that rye category, it's just inundated with so many other beers with rye that this tends to get lost. The historical example tends to get lost in the shuffle, and the rye assumption is it doesn't cause one to go back to the guidelines per se, and we were hoping that the session category would make that happen.
It should be that Roggen has its own category, and you don't get rye IPAs and stuff thrown in with it, right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe someday it'll get there, hopefully.
Yeah, who knows?
But it's a tasty beer, dude.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Super good.
I like the way it makes my mouth feel.
Oh, thank you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Remember when you said that to me last night?
I don't know if I remember, but it sounds familiar.
Sounds like an average
Sounds
night
very
for you.
familiar.
Worst segue ever.
Oh my goodness. Well, best of luck to Burning
Thank you.
Beard on this. This is a really fantastic beer. The thing that I like about it is I would never on my own order this beer because it's a style that I don't know, so it would be kind of scary to me. But I really like it, and now when I see a Roggen, I'm just going to go for it.
Do it.
And I'm going to think of you every single time.
Are people going to think this might be the new hot beer of 2019?
Yeah.
We're always looking for the new hot beer, whether it be hazy or whatever. Is it Roggen? Is Roggen?
And you know, I'm glad you brought that up. We almost entered this into the hazy category.
Okay. But
They're-
too much rye in it?
There weren't enough beers in that category.
You know what a lot of people might not know, though, is that a lot of the like good San Diego IPAs, the ones that we've known and loved forever, like, you know, some of the Alpine beers, have rye in them.
Yes.
You know?
That makes one of the best IPAs ever. It's a little
Absolutely.
rye, a little wheat in there, makes it so
man.
much more delicious.
Makes
Totally.
it sparkle.
Yeah, exactly.
Sparkle. I like that. Like a raccoonicorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
See what she did there?
You know, you like that? You like that, right?
Yes.
Speaking of Urban Dictionary, one of my favorite beer names ever. You hear the funniest beer names at the GABF, right?
Yeah.
German Sparkle Party. One for like the, I think the German, like the Berliner Weiss category, the German Goza category at one point.
Okay.
And the whole place just erupted in laughter.
Was this the last couple of years? I might have been
That was about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. I might have been talking Shelly off the ledge.
Sounds about right. All right, so next is Thorn, and we're about to get super duper basic, and I'm really excited about it.
Yes.
Doug, tell me about this beer.
So what we have here is Cinderella's Midnight Ride. It's a pumpkin latte inspired Goza. But this beer is anything from basic. It's got the Goza base at 4.6%. It has lactose in it, coffee, fresh roasted pumpkin, and spices. So it starts off as
Cheers.
pumpkin pie on the nose and then finishes as a Goza.
There it is.
Whoa. Holy
Oh,
cow.
wow.
It's such a drinker. You know, you think sometimes you get a little scared when it says pumpkin on there.
Well, I get scared when I see Goza on there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm all about this. Ooh.
You got all the flavors to kind of
It
meld
seems
or
like
mesh
they
really well.
shouldn't go together because they're conflicting, but somehow meld together to make something beautiful.
Yeah, they really do. On paper, it just seems awkward. And then you drink it and you go, okay, no. I get everything. I get the coffee, I get the pumpkin, I get the salt.
Spices. Get a little bit of salt on the end, making you want to
Yeah.
take another sip.
Wow.
I mean, with this, as a New Englander, I love pumpkin beers.
Yes.
Fall's coming, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
please bring on the pumpkin. But I know all of my brewer friends want to hate pumpkin. And it's usually because it's just a spice bomb. So on this one, we wanted to focus on the fresh roasted pumpkin flavor and then complementary subtle
It's a
spices.
good balance, really good balance.
Well, I don't like pumpkins because they're a pain in the butt to brew with. Like,
yeah.
you got to throw them all in the mash, right? Is that where
Oh,
you
we
went?
did this all on the cold side.
Cold side. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I
it's
watched them
different.
hand roast the pumpkin, actually, literally with a blowtorch in the bird.
It's a huge pain in the butt because you got to do stuff like that.
It was 3 hours of peeling and cutting pumpkins and then a few hours of roasting the pumpkin and then trying to get that into the tank. It was definitely a fun day.
Huh. So what category does this go into?
This was entered into pumpkin spice. So with this, we wanted to basically kind of try to stand out. Most people will use an IPA, a porter, or a stout when they do pumpkin spice, where we figured this is going to stick out and kind of keep it in people's minds, something different.
I like that you get the spice through the nose, but not so much as you're drinking it. So it doesn't taste overly spicy. It doesn't taste overly sweet.
I've judged this category as well.
Oh, how does this go?
You guys, I'm old. I've been judging for a long time. Most of the beers that show up in this category taste just like pumpkin pie, just straight up. Some of them add a lot of lactose to really try to get that sort of whipped cream on top flavor, and then they add whatever, maybe some oak chips to try to get the crust flavor in there as well. This I'm going to appreciate if I end up judging that again this year, because it's going to be different than everything else. Like, you really thought outside the box on this, man.
So you're going to actually award a gold medal this year then for it? Or
I feel like that's what I heard.
Yeah, I think we just all heard that. They actually might give a gold this year for this.
It's going to be a refreshing, sort of differentiating
So what you're
beer.
saying is it's a palate cleanser between the medal winners.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything. I'm not even saying.
There's so much shade being thrown right now. Wow.
It was there. I had I'm just.
Yeah.
Hops are being
I
thrown
don't even know if
everywhere.
I'm going to be judging the category.
All I'm hearing is no.
But if you get it too, you know what to look for.
Oh man, I hope you don't judge
This
any
might
of
be
these
a bad
categories.
thing
I'm
for me
gonna
to
feel
be
so
doing right
bad for you. I'm gonna feel so bad for you. Like, dude.
I should not be doing this right now.
Yeah, just
Yeah, you're fine.
don't tell people you
fine.
judge. It's a
Nobody's
bad
going to
thing.
see this, right?
No.
Nobody.
No, nobody watches this thing, especially with us on it.
Exactly.
100 viewers tops. They'll all be our moms.
So our final beer comes from Karl Strauss. This is a super special beer. It's 7 years old, right?
This is a 7-year-old bottle. This was a beer that's done well for us at GABF.
Fresh glass for you. How dare you?
2 Tortugas. I hope it's okay.
Teamwork.
7 years is a lot to expect from a beer. It's been in my cellar for that long, and I hope it's okay. I really hope it didn't turn sour or anything. But this beer won a bronze at GABF once for us. It's won, I think, a silver at World Beer Cup. It's won at LA International, San Diego. So we just kind of, it always hunts in competitions. So we
Nice.
just kind of keep rebrewing it for competitions.
So you say you brought
It's a
this
Belgian
up.
quadruple. It's 11%.
Yeah.
And it was the second Christmas beer of the 12 beers of Christmas that we did. So
Wow.
we brewed.
It smells
This
nice.
batch was brewed in 2011. It should taste
wow.
like dates and raisins and sort of, I don't know, sometimes gets a little bubblegummy.
Lots of dates.
It's kind of a sipper.
That's nice.
Oh wow.
So when did Karl officially really start entering contests? Because I know that when I worked for Karl back in the early 2000s,
We had a no compete.
you had a no.
policy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So what was the thought in changing that?
You know, when the GABF first started out, it was kind of, it wasn't judged as seriously as it is now.
So what you're saying is all those early medals were worthless.
I think in the early days, it was judged by people on the floor of the event itself. And you guys know that's that's a drunk fest, right?
Right.
And Samuel Adams was walking around with like trinkets and girls like that look like Danielle wearing tight miniskirts and stuff, giving out freebies and whatever.
Pretzel necklaces.
Yeah, things like that. And they were in the people on the floor got these little chits or whatever that they would put into
Throw in a
hats.
box.
And at the end of
Okay.
the event, they would count the number of, chits in the box. And Samuel Adams would win it every year. And they used it in their advertising and everything. Best beer at the GABF, 4 years running. You guys remember those commercials?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And so Karl kind of said, it's not a serious competition. But over time, it did become a
Yeah.
pretty serious competition. And now it's like,
The
probably
competition.
the competition,
Yeah. That's-
that and the World
yeah.
Beer Cup.
Yeah.
And
So I was not wrong.
You were not.
I mean, not technically,
No.
no.
Now-
Not
so
technically.
now they shove like 300 people through. Well, how many
to win
judges?
a medal now, to win a medal now, it's legit, man.
Yeah.
Like you got to have a solid beer. It's got to be clean. It's got to be a good example of the style. No joke.
How many judges are down in that basement of that hotel room for 4 straight days?
Hundreds, yeah.
Hundreds, right?
Yeah.
Do they let you see the sun? Or are you guys?
No, you're Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week, you're secluded. 9 to 5, those 3 days, just with your face down in beer.
Are you allowed to talk about the beers that you judge at all? Or is it one of those like we all
not
keep
really.
our thoughts to ourselves?
Yeah.
First rule of beer judging is you don't talk about beer judging.
A couple years ago, I gave him like 3 shots of JMO trying to get some info out of him.
I'd be
He
the
was
worst
great.
judge ever. I'd be wasted.
It's like
I'd tell
jury duty.
everybody-
It's like jury duty. Seriously.
That's so,
So,
funny.
By the end of it, you just want like a margarita or something. Something other than beer. You're beered out.
Rum and
Mai
Coke.
Tai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so to bring it back to this beer, which tastes amazing, by the way.
Thanks, man.
What 7 years ago? What was the yeast you were using on this? I know there's a lot of things.
Oh
that you
boy,
could-
I think we used the WLP 550 on this,
Okay,
if I'm not
550.
mistaken.
Like 530 is what the traditional monastery high ABV beer. There's the 500. It's the lower. I mean, there's.
I think this tastes more like a 540.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a 540 and a half if you.
That's yeah. I think we're channeling
It's
Mr.
swirly.
Long.
Swirly.
I could be wrong, but I think it's 550.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
yeah, that whole residual sweetness. I mean, you have it just like balanced. It's like perfectly,
Thanks.
really nice.
What category are you guys entering this in?
Belgian Quadruple.
Okay.
I think there's Belgian Strong and Belgian Quadruple are lumped in together at the World Beer Cup, but I think they're separated at GABF. Not sure why that is.
Yeah, it seems kind of a weird way to do it, but.
Well, there's also the aged beer category too, so you never know.
Oh, yeah.
Into that one.
So this one isn't going into the aged beer. Actually, we usually brew a fresh batch each year for the competition, but we'll brew it, 3 or 4 months in advance. So it's got a little bit of age on it when it goes off.
Very nice.
We don't want it to be too green.
So,
I'm super duper excited for all of you guys.
Well, you're going
thank
too.
you. You're going to be there too. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be there. I'll be there, but
I'll be there.
Yeah.
We're all going to be there.
We're all going to be there.
it's amazing.
your
It
friends.
takes San Diego beer scene to get out of San Diego to be able to actually have a beer together.
Yes.
Everyone is so busy. We all have to go to Denver to have a beer together.
Or
but,
91X.
Or, that's
yeah.
you. That works also, But if you are going to be at the Great American Beer Festival, if you entered a beer, good luck to everybody in
Yes.
San
Yeah,
Diego.
good luck to everybody.
Let's
San
bring
Diego.
home some medals.
Yeah.
Be safe out there. And
Yeah, go San Diego, right?
Go San Diego. To all the San Diego
San Diego.
brewers, bring home some bling, will you?
Woo. All right, and be watching on Saturday because that's when the award ceremony will be happening. I will be live tweeting it on my page. We'll also be doing it at 91X Beer on Instagram and Twitter. So follow along and cheers.
Cheers. Support San Diego beer.
Yes.